Welcome everyone to our board-to-board interview series. I'm here today with my good friend, Gwong-Yih Lee, Senior Managing Director of Translink Capital and former Chairman of Monte Jade West. My name is David Jang, and I'm very pleased for everyone to be joining us today. Just as a reminder, this event, it will be recorded. If you have any questions, please utilize the Q&A function within Zoom. And our speakers during this time will not be responding to Q&As at this current time in our chat. If you want to utilize the chat, introduce yourself, say hello, meet other friends. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and we will find a way to get to you as soon as possible. For your best experience, please toggle to gallery view for the best viewing pleasure. Monte Jade was founded in 1989. We were founded by immigrants from Asia. They bonded together to support one another because they were under-networked and under-resourced. Through this community, billions of dollars of enterprise value was created and hundreds of companies were formed. Even to this day, Monte Jade is focused on building community. We do this today under 3 pillars. The first pillar are our interview series, such as this one, where we celebrate notable community leaders through understanding their personal journey and how they overcame some of the many challenges that they faced. This focus on journey helps us better connect with the next generation of leaders. The second pillar is focused on technology forums, where we bring our community new ideas to understand. This enables our members to discover new opportunities for investments, careers, or just in general, some knowledge. Recently, we've held talks on venture investing, AI, biosciences, robotics, just to name a few. The last, but most important pillar is our mentorship program. This volunteer-run program focuses on helping build the skill sets of future leaders. Eastern Asians are underrepresented in the leadership of many Bay Area technology companies, and today we continue to lag our peers in being promoted. White males are promoted at 2 times the rate of Asian males, while white females are promoted at 3 times the rate of Asian females. This disparity has gotten worse over the last 2 decades, and our program strives to help address this inequality. The 6-month-long mentorship program focuses on education and deep engagement with small mentor families to help address some of the challenges moving up the corporate ladder. We've started providing a link to next year's program that will begin in October of next year. If you know anyone that is interested, please send them our way, and we'd love to have them in our program. At this time, I'd like to thank our virtual sponsors, Deloitte Venture Pacific Law, UMC, Silicon Motion, New York Life, Most, and Richwave. Through COVID, these great sponsors have continued to support us and enable us to run great programs such as this. During non-COVID times, we also have our annual sponsors, as you can see here on the right, and we thank them for their continued support as well. I have the great pleasure of introducing Gwong-Yih Lee at this current time. He's had an amazing career. He's currently the Senior Managing Director at Translink Capital. He's an Independent Director for Creative Technologies, also an Independent Director for Alliance Fiber Optic Products. He is the former CEO of Cybertan Technology and a Foxconn affiliated company, a strategic advisor for Foxconn Corporate Ventures. He is the founder of Transmedia, which was acquired by Cisco, and the founder of Digicon Systems, which was acquired by Creative Labs. He has an MS in Electrical Engineering from the New York at Stony Brook and National Chiao-Tung University. He has a BS in Electrical Engineering. Welcome, Gwong. It's great to see you. How have you been?
Hello, hi, David. It's nice meeting you here again. Hi, everyone on the line, and good afternoon and good morning. It's an opportunity for me to speak to you under this spatial pandemic situation. Hopefully, with this time, we can all enjoy it. Okay, by exchanging some of my experiences. Okay, hopefully it's helpful to you.
Thank you. Well, I want to really thank you for joining us in Asia. Today we are on a different schedule, but this is kind of the beauty of Zoom and also COVID, where actually now we can actually do interviews across the ocean. So thank you so much for joining us from Asia.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah.
So I want to start off with kind of your journey here to the U.S. Because a lot of our community are all immigrants, right? I'm very curious of like what brought you here to the U.S. in the first place, and what was that experience like?
Yeah, I mean, for those times, as you know, okay, U.S. No matter in every aspect, okay, technology, economy, and social lives, okay, meaning politics, okay, they all seems to be the leader, okay, in the world, okay. So most of the educated people in Taiwan would like to experience this, okay, and also hopefully we can achieve, okay, a better life, okay, for our when we were young, okay. So I believe that was the force, okay, driving us, okay, to study harder and to go abroad, especially to the U.S., okay, to learn something new and hopefully can establish a good family, or beyond that, okay, the new career, okay, over in the new continental.
And what was there a reason why you chose New York when you first came to the U.S.? What was that? How'd you make that decision?
Okay, that was interesting. Yeah, because I believe at that time the general economy over in Taiwan was quite challenging. Okay, which means, okay, no matter how my parents work hard, okay, and wants to provide the support for me to go abroad, okay, to study. Without the scholarship or whatever the support from the school, okay, we can't really afford, okay. So therefore, I have to apply, okay, with scholarship, okay. So fortunately, there are 2 or 3, okay, provided such support to my for my tuition. So at the end, okay, I understood the Stony Brook was the one with not only provide me with that support and also have a very good, electrical engineering program. So that's why I decided to go. Additionally, there was my teacher, actually one of a professor, young professor, okay, who taught us for the new advanced control engineering class, who graduates, got a PhD from that school. So that's why naturally I choose this school and go in there. And there's another one reason, okay. I think one of the Nobel Prize, which Yang Zhenning, okay, who teach the physics, okay, at that school as well. So I thought maybe I can get a chance, okay, to learn more, okay, in that field, okay. So it's a natural decision.
That's great. I'm very curious because, Taiwan was very different than America at that time in terms of culture, the people, like the entire environment. So did it feel very strange coming to the US? Like how did that experience impact you think?
Oh yeah, I always it's certainly it's a black and white experiences. Okay, no matter what you learn, especially think about the 40 years ago, no matter how much you try to absorb from the newspaper, book, or even the TV, okay, that's just newly started. Okay, you can get all the information, okay, from there. A lot of the impression you got from the movie, it's not quite true as even today. Okay, so I like I said, okay, it's quite a contrast, okay, to my impression when I first stepped into this land. Okay, but gradually we know how to adapt that, okay, to learn new things. Okay, I can still remember, okay, even I thought that we have a well prepared for language, okay, but when I first landed at the JFK, okay, it's quite a shock. Okay, I can understand most of the people talk about, but I can really communicate well with them. Okay, so that's the differences. Okay, yeah, between when I was in Taiwan and when I first landed in the US. I can still remember, okay.
And how long? Go ahead.
How long? Okay. I think it takes me at least 1 year, okay, to gradually adapt myself, okay, into the US, whether that's education environment or working environment.
Yeah, it takes a while to just to get to be familiarized.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
how did you ultimately, so after you got your degree, how did you, like, what was your first job? Like, where did you want to take your degree after that?
I see. Yeah, I plan to get my straight, okay, to get my PhD. Then I realized, okay, my girlfriend, which is my wife now, okay, is coming to the U.S. to study, and there's a common place, okay. We all decided to go to as a Silicon Valley, but of course, I mean, 40 years ago, Silicon Valley was not that famous, okay. People just think, okay, at that area, there's a more high-tech job available, okay, for young people. And of course, I mean, in order to settle down, the immigration status is important. So with those two things, my girlfriend's in Silicon Valley, and also to be more stable for living, okay, I decided to work first, okay, and to establish the family first, then go beyond to chase my PhD degree, okay. But unfortunately, I also realized, okay, once I have a family, and especially have the kids, okay, a lot of dream, okay, for academic, okay, become more challenging, okay. So I never decided to give up, but naturally I just have to give up, okay, to pursue my academic degrees.
Right, definitely. And so what was the first job? So when you landed in Silicon Valley, you got your girlfriend was here, you wanted to start a family. What was that first career for you?
Oh yeah, it was challenging, okay. In Taiwan, I study one of the major sector of the electrical engineering. We call it control engineering. I studied there in Taiwan for control engineering. However, in the US, okay, the first class I choose was a digital communication. Digital signal processing at then, okay, was a new technology, okay. So I was able to register myself, okay, to get the new class, and find that it was interesting, okay. So I pursue further, okay. So I learned a lot, okay, for the new technology in the digital signal processing area. So when I applied the job, okay, I found a new a company which was famous for the so-called analog communication, but they realized, okay, digital communication is on the horizon. They have to, okay, adapt themselves, okay, to disrupt the industry. So fortunately, I was a part of the team to develop the new product. So that was a lucky side. Okay, I was able to join the team in the advanced technologies area within that company.
And how long did you stay at that company? And what would you say your biggest learnings were working for a company doing very big transitions from digital analog to digital?
Yeah, I stayed with that company for 6 years. Okay, before I started my first own company, and as you know, okay, even the company, the top management, okay, realize that there's a trend, okay, they need to move on, okay, to adapt the digital communication. During my 40 years career, okay, I realized, okay, big giants, okay, meaning when they wanted to move, okay, the majority of the team stay behind. It's only small group of people wanted to disrupt, okay, and sometimes it takes too long, okay, and they never successfully make a change. So the first 3 or 4 years, okay, I was using the, I was able to work on the analog communication project, but the last 3 to 4 years, okay, I was able to join the team to develop the digital technologies as a product.
So what was the big reason why you eventually wanted to leave? Because you have a family, you've been there for 6 years, you're probably making decent money, but
Yeah.
Why make the leap?
Yeah, I think, okay, when I start my career, I knew, and also actually I hope, okay, one day I can have my own, okay, startup company. I can build my own career, not just stay in a big company. So fortunately, with this company, I was able to involve for the new technology developments, and because the new technology on the horizon, there are many steps, okay, they're going through. The first step is using the discrete components to build the analog products. Then later, okay, they try to use discrete digital components, okay, to build a digital product. Then I saw there's a DSP chips, okay, meaning digital signal processing chips, okay, coming out from TI, coming out from analog devices, okay. That's a company name, okay. So I knew that maybe it's my opportunity, okay, to start a new company. So after discuss with my friends and also families, okay, I think, okay, it's an opportunity for me, okay, to go out to form a team to raise fund, okay, to establish a new company.
So that's a huge leap. I know, like, so most Asians are risk adverse, and I'm overgeneralizing. So but you made that leap. Was it because you saw the technology opportunity? Was it because you had a great team? Was it because you were confident in raising funding? Like, what helped push that momentum to drive you to start?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question. Looking back, okay, I thought that when I decided to coming out to start a company, I knew I have a good team. I knew I saw the opportunity, but I never realized, okay, I need funding, okay. So I was lucky enough, okay. I met a person who encouraged me, okay, to coming out, because I talked to him about my ideas, okay. So he was quite supportive, okay, and said, Guang, don't worry, okay, the money you need, okay, I will try to fund you, okay. So what happened is I also did not realize, okay, my first funding, okay, was only 340,000, okay, US dollars, okay, and with 600, I mean, total was 1 million, okay, with another 660,000 for as a loan, okay. So that's how I started the company, and we just move on as we planned, okay. And I was lucky, okay. But it's also tell you, okay, back then, okay, my first company started in 1987. You don't really need, okay, that much of a funding, okay, to start a company. Yeah.
So when you transition from working for someone else to running your own business at that time, what was the hardest shift for you as you kind of made that transition?
That's good. Okay. Yeah, good question. Okay. Of course, I mean, when being only as involved heavily in engineering, okay, you probably only think, okay, engineering is the key. It is a key one, okay. And you think once you have a product, you have a team to build a product, then everything should be ready for you. But when I started the company, then I realized, okay, there are many aspects. Okay, I also need to worry about. Okay, HR is one area, finance is another area. Of course, later, okay, because I'm building the hardware product, so therefore the manufacturing or operation, which also involve the procurement, okay, it's literally you have to worry about it, your warehouse, your inventory, okay. So those kind of things, okay. You have to learn quickly, but before you learn, you need to be aware those are the areas you need to pay attention to. So I was lucky, okay, when I was in my first company, I knew I wanted to started my own company. So purposely, I have myself trained, okay, by leading a project. I involved with people in the HR area, in the quality control area, in the procurement area, in the general operations area. I learned, okay, how they manage it for the daily, okay, how they manage it for the quarterly, and therefore, when I started my own company, instead of create or try to I actually learned a lot from my previous company. I sort of tried to reestablish those systems they have, okay, and to build my own company.
Yeah, they always say it's better to learn on someone else's dime as opposed to your own dime.
that certainly would be one of my advice, okay, for the younger generation, okay. If you are interested, okay, to have your own company, yes, if you can learn from someone else's how you use that, someone else's time, okay, you better use. I think you should take advantage for that.
Definitely. So as you were building this business, at a certain point you hit critical mass, and it's not just is it hard to build a business, but it's just as hard to exit a business. So take me through that process. Like, how did you guys think about selling and exiting and monetizing the many years of hard work?
Yeah. Yeah, that's another interesting question. Okay, as you can see, okay, I founded two company, and I choose, okay, to be merged, okay, with other bigger company, okay. I thought about the process, okay, because I look at those my good friends, okay, who had a very similar background as me, okay. They came from Taiwan or other foreign country. They are very knowledgeable. They are working harder, even harder than me, okay. They're smart. They build a great team. But when they establish a company going public, but very soon their board members, okay, or their advisors, okay, telling them for your mission, okay, to establish a company has accomplished, okay, going beyond, okay, maybe product is not the most important. Is how you interface with Wall Street's company become the most important. So they quickly, okay, they changed the executive team, okay, from the originally founding team to another team, okay, who the boards, okay, think it's more suitable, okay, to interface with with Wall Street as companies, okay, yeah. So I think, okay, how I get my my established company, okay, the best out of my efforts, okay, I choose, okay, to sell the company, okay, and which my team, okay, can quickly enjoy, okay, those efforts they put in, okay, to establish the company. Yes.
Right. Yeah, no, it's a very challenging process because oftentimes there's kind of pride of ownership, right? So it's like I just
Yeah.
built this baby, but wow, should I go public? Should I sell it? Like that's always a very challenging process to go through, especially as a founder. And so after you exited the first one, what made you start the second one? Was it like, oh, this is so easy, I'm just going to do another one. This is easy. Like, what was your thought process on that?
Yeah, I thought that, okay, the first company acquire me, okay, is a Creative Lab, okay. I'm not sure for younger generation people, how many of you, okay, knows of this company. But when we mentioned about the Sound Blaster, it brings back, okay, a lot of the young people's memory, okay, about the when they working on their computer or playing the online games, okay. They know, okay, the Sound Blaster is one of the important product for them to enjoy the game or enjoy the work, okay. But anyway, that's a company's major product. It's called the Sound Blaster for Creative Lab, okay. Creative Lab is a company originally from Singapore. Of course, later on they built a very big team, okay, in Silicon Valley, and then making the global business, okay, worldwide, okay. However, what I like to say is established, well-established company have their companies as culture, and that this company from Asia, okay, the culture, Asian culture, okay, especially strong, okay. So when I interface with them, I realized that, okay, them, however, I have a 3 years contract with them, okay. I have to stay with this company, okay, for 3 years, okay, and continue to make sure, okay, the smooth transition. And then, okay, they realize, okay, even they have a very strong, multimedia product as like a Sound Blaster car, they can't avoid to using the communication communication technology, okay, to make their product, okay, even more powerful, can communicate, okay, with other industry or other products, okay. So for that, okay, I certainly want to, okay, make sure my team, okay, smoothly integrated with Creative Lab. But however, 3 years later, okay, I didn't see I can go beyond that, okay, meaning after the smooth transition, I can grow, okay, my team with some more influences, okay, in the company. So I look around, okay, what would be the best opportunity, okay, in the market. Then I realized, okay, there's another opportunity which I can establish a new company. So I told my boss, which is the chairman of the board of the Creative Lab, okay, talking about the new opportunity, okay, and with that, okay, I believe not only better for me and also can be better for Creative Lab, okay. They all agree, and also they all invest my second new company. So I move on, okay, to have my second company.
That's fantastic. So an always fun question is, when you had your first exit, what was the first big purchase you did?
Yeah, interestingly, okay, I thought, okay, yeah, it wasn't that much, okay. I only bought one thing, okay. It's a binocular, okay.
Binoculars.
Yeah, that was my kids' time, okay. I always think, okay, it was an interesting technology. I was able to see more, see far, okay. And when I first sold my company, okay, I did nothing, okay, just buy one best piece, okay, in the market at that time, okay. So I enjoyed that, okay. For
That's
the
great.
sports, yeah.
That's great. So So on your second company, Creative funded it, and did you bring the team over from Creative? Did you create a new team? Like, what was your thought process as you kind of scaled the second one?
Yeah, the second one, the first one was pretty much based upon only one technology we call the digital signal processing. Okay, that was good enough. Okay, for the telephone communication. Okay, with that time we called a modem. Okay, for the telephone line, because digital signal processing that was able to heavily promote, okay, the analog communication from very low speed to very high speed for telephone line. However, that was not good enough. Okay, so therefore the networking, okay, become popular in the communication sector. Okay, so I realized, okay, I have to move on to networking technology. And at that time, okay, for today, you can see, okay, networking only based upon one technology or one protocol, we call the IP protocol, okay. But back then, okay, 20 years ago or 25 years ago, there are many of the protocol like ATM, token ring, okay, so and also IP, okay. Then you have to, okay, communicate from one network to the other network, okay. So with a different protocol, so for the service provider, okay, it's difficult for them, okay, to convert, okay, largely from one protocol to the other. So I thought that was a good opportunity, okay, if you can build a box or a system was able to convert, largely one protocol from one protocol to the other protocol, then that can solve a lot of a problem, okay, for the carrier, and brings up a good opportunity as a startup company. So I not only convince Creative, okay, to give me the initial funding, okay, and also I was able to convince my friends, okay, and looking for the new members, okay, to join to create a new product, okay, for the new company called Transmedia.
That's great. And so when comparing the first company to the second company, what were some of the differences in terms of challenges that you faced in the second company? Because it's a full system now as opposed to like a singular technology, right? So what other new complexities did you face in that second one?
Yeah, because of the complexity, okay, we needed different sector of the expertise, okay, to join as a team. I think that was one first challenge, okay, which means every expertise, okay, believe in that area they are the most important one. But how we convince them, okay, to work together, okay, to create a powerful product, okay, I think that was one of the challenging. The second challenging because we're building the bigger systems, okay, therefore the funding requirement is bigger. So of course I was lucky enough to get my my company, meaning Creative Lab, okay, to make a funding, but that's not enough, okay. How could I, okay, to convince other ventures, okay, or friends, okay, to fund me, okay, that's another challenge, okay. So fortunately, because of I knew what it takes, okay, to establish a new startup company, I was able to prepare good enough material to convince people, say this is a trend, and I have a good team with a good technology based upon my past experiences. Okay, I was able to deliver what I think I should deliver, okay, to the industry, okay, to the market.
It's always a hard part. I always hear that as a founder of a business, pitching VCs or investors is the hardest thing, because especially when you're forecasting something 5 to 10 years out, that's going to be important. It's kind of like, how do you know, right? So it was a big bet. ultimately you sold this company to Cisco, I believe, right? And
Yes.
again, why sell as opposed to IPO? I mean, that was a time for everyone to go IPO, right?
Yes. Yes. I think, okay, at that time, it's only 15 months, okay, from we first started company. But however, we already built a very complicated product. It's ready, okay. It's not only ready, we already successfully did the POC, okay, proof of concept, okay, at the big established carriers, okay, and they wanted to place the order, but however they said, okay, you are only a startup company. Once we place the order, it's a big amount of cash flow you need to worry about, okay. Beyond the cash flow, that actually means, okay, there's a procurement, okay, with a hundreds of components, how you handle that, okay. Even I myself, I think I built a strong team, okay, to handle that. But in their eyes, okay, they think it's too challenging for the smaller company. Therefore, for those two carriers, they said, okay, we can make an introduction, okay, for those established system house, okay. See how they wanted to collaborate, okay, with you. Sure enough, okay, when those company they hear a startup company has a big opportunity with the channels, okay, to become a big company, they made an offer, okay, to us, which very difficult for us to say no. And also, I also felt, okay, there's a bit challenging, okay, time, okay, for us to quickly establish a bigger team where with those expertise I expect, okay, they should bring on, okay. As I just mentioned, okay, those people we hire, they all experts, okay, and with some strong experiences and the knowledge, okay. I believe I can make them, okay, all work together, but at the end, whether I can really establish that kind of environment, okay, for them to work is a kind of a challenge, okay. So when many of the company made a good offers, okay, with some discussion with my boards, okay, I think that to sell it, okay, probably the best path, okay, for the company at that time.
I mean, in terms of return on investment over a time duration, that was an amazing
Yeah,
ROI.
that was, yes, yes. But also you look at back, okay, when I sold my second company, the timing just about right, okay. If we decide to delay 6 months, okay, the market just crashed, okay, and it's not a crash for the bigger company, okay, but it's crash for all the startup company. You can't get the funding anymore. Therefore, that means, okay, you can find good people, build the good product, okay, for company to supply to your customer. So it will be very challenging for a startup company.
Definitely. So you've now sold two businesses. You haven't retired.
Yeah.
Like, so what was your thought process? Like, you just completed your second transaction. Number one, what did you buy? And then number two, why didn't you just kind of like just sit back and say, I'm kind of done. I'm like, I want to retire now.
Yeah, I think, okay, if you look back, okay, the past 20 years, okay, the new opportunity keep on coming up, okay. I thought those new opportunity, okay, all related, okay, to my my experience and the knowledge, okay, I built up in the past, okay. So I felt, okay, I can contribute more, okay, to whether that's a society or to my friends, okay. I believe, okay, continue on, okay, would be would be better, okay, for me. And also I can choose, okay, what area I wanted to involve and what kind of pace, okay, I wanted to involve, okay. So I decide, okay, to stay on, okay, and have myself, okay, involved, okay, for in the industry and in the market.
That's great. And so was it a challenge shifting from the founder, the operator side to the investment and advisory side? Like how did that shift occur for you?
Okay. Yeah, one, I think, okay, I can share a lot of my experiences and also my observation, okay, for the younger people, for those people who want to establish their company or their dream, okay. And also, I feel making investments, okay, before I'm really committed to make one investment, I actually involve, I have to see more company and dig deeper, okay, to get more information, okay, before I make a decision. So I think that this is good, okay, for me to continue on, okay, to learning more. But most importantly, when I decided to make an investment, okay, I can actually contribute more, okay, to the company.
Mhm. And so when you look at deal flow these days, I'm sure you get a lot of deal flow still, and a lot of people coming to you. What is the hardest part for you in terms of like saying, like when you look at these new companies, what often do they have wrong? Or what do you find as a common theme or a common mistake that you often see?
Yeah, as I mentioned previously, but I don't know whether I emphasize that, okay. I believe, okay, when I first start my own company, I thought, okay, technology, okay, is the only thing, okay, to most important or only factor, okay, to for the company's success, okay. Others, okay, I think I thought, okay, with one with some unique technology, okay, you'll be able to penetrate the market, penetrate into the into customer as you want, okay. Maybe I can give you one example, okay. My first company with the new product within 1 year, okay, we were able to, okay, to get the customer AT&T, okay. So as a customer, so AT&T do nothing, just change them the nameplate, okay, from our product, okay, then sell into their channel. So for the next 5 years, okay, more than 50% of my first company's revenue coming from AT&T, okay. So that was good, okay. But I thought, okay, the success of the business, okay, all coming from the because I have the best technology in the market, okay. So for the next 5 years, okay, when we have a heavy relationship with AT&T, personally, I never made any customer visit, okay, to AT&T, okay. So which means, okay, I lost the chance, okay, to learn a lot of new things, okay, from AT&T. Not only, I mean, understood, okay, whether we did a good job, okay, to serve AT&T, and also I did not know, okay, from the valuable channel with AT&T, I can see from their eyes or from their channel what will be the future, okay, for the market, okay. I did not pick up any, I mean, things, okay, from AT&T. But anyway, coming back, okay, my second company, I certainly learned a lot, okay, from my first company's success loss.
That's great. And so like as an investor now on the investment side, what do you look for now in startup companies? So I know Translink Capital does quite a bit of cross-border investments, right? So what do you look for as opportunities? What excites you these days? And how are you deploying capital today?
So yeah, as a Translink, okay, of course, we also looking for what will be the next, okay, market trend, okay. So it's really involved a lot of new technology, okay. AI is one area, robotic, AR, VR, autonomous driving, and so on and so on. Okay, so there are many things. Okay, but what personally I try to focus on, okay, is mostly in the AI, robotics. Maybe some of them is AI and the robots. Okay, for the industry of 4.0. In other words, okay, how we automate, okay, the manufacturing line better. Okay, so this will be the area, okay, I am looking for. Mm-hmm.
And obviously manufacturing is significantly bigger in for example Asia or China than it is in here in the US. Do you see opportunities on both sides? Like, do you get more deal flow from Asia these days? Is it coming from the US? Like, where's that deal flow coming from these days?
Yeah, interestingly, if you see, yeah, it's very obvious. Okay, US and China, they have a trade war. Okay, in the US, okay, US will try very heavily, okay, to bring back the manufacturing capability, okay. So the only way, okay, to make them successful, they have to, okay, bring back those manufacturing technology heavily involved with automation, okay. So lots of the AI technology, lots of the automation, okay, related to the IoT, okay, they have to, okay, enable those, okay, before they bring those things back to the US. Mm-hmm. Whether it's in Asia, as you can see, because of the trade war, okay, they have to move their manufacturing line from one place to the other place, okay. You can move people, okay. You can quickly train people. So the only way make them successfully move from place to place, okay, is also with the automation capability, okay. So to us, okay, whether that's in the U.S. or in outside of the U.S., okay, they can't avoid, okay, to using the new technology, okay, to enable the automation on the manufacturing side, okay.
Definitely. And so when you think of automation and AI, or do you see that as like an intersection, or do you see them as kind of like two separate investment theses right now?
It's I think, okay, it's no choice but just integrate them together, okay. When we talk about AI, okay, there are many areas, okay, talking about the AI. The vision detection, therefore make a smart decision, whether the processor has something precaution, okay, there's anything about wrong, okay, with the system, with the machine, okay, it's they're using the AI. What I'd like to say is AI is just a general terminology, but when that applies to smart manufacturing, okay, there are many areas, okay, they are using AI. Visual is one thing, and the systems performance, okay, from the manufacturing line, they collect many different points of the data, therefore make a analysis, okay, to decide, okay, whether there's any area that's about to have some defects, okay. They are using the AI to improve that as well, okay. Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting because at least when I think about AI, generally I would say like the strength of the AI ability is generally correlated with the amount of data one has, right? So when we think about who has the most data, it's going to be the largest factories, right? So you think about the Foxcons of the world are going to have a disproportionate value. So how does a new startup company find their ways into these large companies that has the ownership of the data? So how does a small player find themselves opportunities?
Yeah. So therefore, yeah. First, I agree. Okay. collecting data is the advantage, okay, for those big established company. But however, first, they don't know where there's a huge amount of data available in the factory, but where is the key point that you need to collect the data, and for those collected data, how you make analysis, okay, to becoming useful information for you to make improvements, okay. All these areas, okay, it's really takes a collaboration, okay, to come up with some useful solutions, okay, for the manufacturing. But for startups, okay, back to that, you have to be experiences about manufacturing environments, okay. So therefore, they can start with, okay, which point they can collect the data, and what kind of algorithm they need to use, okay, to analyze the data. And additionally, okay, many of the new companies, they realize, okay, if they only individually or separately to collect and analyze the data, it's not going to be very helpful. So they start thinking how they make the complex data analysis, okay, to make the all collected data be more useful, okay, for the manufacturer solutions. Yeah.
So when you think about this solution, so we think about the larger the data source, the more powerful the AI algorithms. Is there a dynamic in which like the large players like a Foxconn would not want their competitors to also learn about what they've done? So like, and from a startup lens now, if I only have one customer, and does that, or like, how do I expand my market, given that now every customer I'm going to have isolated data in?
I see. Okay. So I believe, okay, if you started with the general basic manufacturing process, they're all about the same. Or I'm only talking about it like area involved with service mount and area, okay. But of course, there are other type of a production line. I think because starting with the fundamental equipment, they are very similar. Therefore, they're only using that, okay, to produce different products, okay. From product to product, okay, there are maybe some different processes, okay. In general, the fundamental data, okay, they are very similar, okay. So because AI evolved, okay, therefore, if you can team up with one good algorithm with AI's technology, okay, they are able to commonly used, okay, by many different manufacturers, okay. Yeah.
Right. And so where would you think like the large equipment manufacturers play at that point then? So like the large equipment players, I would be thinking like they would probably want to automate their stuff as much as possible versus letting a startup do it, or letting like a large CM do it.
Yes. Okay. So yes, I think many important fundamental equipment manufacturers, they are also trying to build their own so-called AI process, okay, to improve those processes involved with their equipments. But however, a big production lines, okay, involve many different stage, okay, to produce a product, okay. Service mount is one important area. Then you integrated the product is another important area. So how that involves different type of equipments, okay. So for manufacturer like a Foxconn, Quantum, or Luxshare, okay, they have a different challenging, okay. The challenging will be, okay, for the entire production lines, okay, involve different, complex equipments, okay. How you collect those different data, okay, doing the complex analysis, okay, to come up with some smart solution at the end, okay. That's the contract manufacturers as a challenge, okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the insights. I think that's always amazing hearing from someone in the industry, investing in the
Yeah.
space, seeing all the problems.
Yeah. I was lucky enough, okay, for my career, there were about 8 years, okay, I heavily involved with a Foxconn team, okay. So I sort of understand, okay, what they need, okay, what they are looking for the future in the manufacturing area. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, like that's really fascinating, right? Because you went from selling two businesses, and then you worked quite heavily with Foxconn. How did that transition occur? Was that like Foxconn, like Terry said, "Wow, you're really good at these startups. Join my company." Like, how did that happen?
That's right. What happened is, uh, with one chance, okay, there was a very good company, I mean, public company involved in a communication. It's a wireless communication. Somehow they wanted to offload the company to Terry, okay, and Terry absorbed that company and think, okay, I have an expertise, okay, for the communication. So he convinced me to join that company as a chairman of the board. Okay, and I thought, okay, I only manage the company from the chairman and from the board level. Okay, but very soon, okay, I become the CEO of that company, and because I become the CEO, it's not just building the product anymore. I have to watch for the manufacturing operation side as well. So that's how I learn heavily, okay, about what it takes, okay, especially for the Asian company, the manufacturing side and the logistics side. I have to get into that, okay, and that's how I learned, okay, with those 8 years, yeah.
So hands-on practical experiencing, fixing problems.
Almost that, okay, but of course I have a good team, okay, to help me for that. But through some of the weekly review, I certainly learn more. Okay, yeah,
Definitely. So I know a lot of viewers are up and coming next generation. What advice would you give to this next generation? So many of our audience members, for example, they are software developers or they're hardware developers. Roughly about probably combined is about 75%. A lot of them are working at large technology companies, so like Amazon, Google, Facebook. What kind of advice would you give them if they're kind of in their early careers? Let's say they're like mid 30s right now.
yeah. Before I say that, okay, but I have to say, if you divided my career life, okay, into two, okay, my first 20 years and my second 20 years, okay, I think I think, okay, my first 20 years, okay, was challenging. But if you look at my second 20 years, okay, look at that, we have a 911, then we have a stock market crash, then we have a financial crisis, and now we have a pandemic, okay? It's one after another, okay? I certainly believe, okay, the younger generation, okay, have more challenge, okay, even more than our generation, okay? But however, the opportunity, look at the stock market, you look at the online market opportunity, okay? And keep on popping out those newer technology, okay? But I felt, okay, this younger generation was full of challenge and full of opportunity, okay? So my advice, okay, is still, if you are interested, okay, to start your own company, lots of the things, if you can learn, okay, from other people's platform, okay, try to do that as much as you can while you are observing, okay, the new opportunity for yourself. Okay.
Are there in the Bay Area? I know a lot of people, have focused on SaaS, software, consumer apps for a very long time, but it feels like there's kind of a semiconductor boom starting to happen again, like a resurgence of people investing in silicon. Do you have any comments around like the silicon space here in the Silicon Valley now?
My observation, okay, yeah, silicon opportunity always there, but it's just the business model was not as promising as the online, okay, people always think, okay, maybe US is make itself, okay, away from silicon technology for too long, okay, but now it is, okay. If you can see the new product, okay, with new technologies application, okay, yeah, it is, okay, more opportunity. That's how I can see, okay. But of course, I mean, I think people now are getting smarter, okay. They think they understood, okay, which is true, okay. Hardware is not the only thing, okay, to make the application more valuable. Software always the one, okay, to make the product or solution more valuable, okay. I thought, okay, when we look at a new product, okay, software's value add, okay, is always a big consideration, okay, for when you wanted to prepare for new startups, okay.
When you look at teams these days, when you invest in them, because of that hardware software intersection, how do you assess whether they're competent in both or not? Like, because usually you have people that are very good at one side and not so good at the other side. How do you ensure that they're good on this, on the integration?
Yeah, good point. Okay, because my expertise, okay, is mostly in the system and the hardware. When there's a chance, okay, for software and the hardware combined as a product, okay, one of the techniques I use, okay, I listen to the teams present how well they understand the hardware side, okay, to gauge, okay, when they talk about the software, how good they are, okay, how deep they really understand, okay, the software side.
I always love that type of a like business model. I think that it's always the best to actually merge the two, just because it's so much harder. It exponentially increases because once you have hardware, you're going to have working capital problems. You're going to have supply chain issues. All these things kind of compound. Versus on software, you can iterate very, very quickly, and you could you make a lot of mistakes. But in hardware, you can't.
You can't, right. But I also think, okay, so I involve one of a company who's using the IoT to add value to the product, okay. But they have a very core product in the hardware area, which I think is the best in the market, okay. But however, because their software, okay, very buggy, okay. So therefore, people entirely, they think, okay, they have a poor product, okay, delivered to the market, okay, until they really fix that area, okay, then they gain back, okay, the customer's trust, okay, and get more market share, okay. But in other words, okay, yes, you can continue to release the new software, but if you release too much, okay, you not only yourself get confused, your customer get very confused as well, okay. So therefore, how to control the product quality, okay, and also the software release become very important topic for the new startup companies.
Definitely. So we're going to move to audience Q&A. We have a person, Peter Chu. I think you're familiar with him. He's a former chairman of Monte Jade as well. He has a question for you. He asks,
yes.
Beyond Industry 4.0, how will giants like Foxconn grow? Will Foxconn revolutionize supply chain ecosystems with their blockchain initiatives? That's a question from Peter.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure, yes, Foxconn, I really cannot represent them, okay, to say a lot of things, but from personal observation, they have to go beyond what they are doing today. I have to use their own announcement, okay, as an answer to Peter, okay. Yeah, very recently, okay, Foxconn make an announcement, so they were heavily involved for the EV, not only for EV's fundamental technology, okay, and also moving beyond, okay, autonomous driving will become very important to them. that become a new sector for them, okay, not only from technology advancement and also revenue growth, okay, in that area. I personally, I believe it's going to be very challenging, okay, but I also believe, okay, they have no choice. They have to, okay, make an investment in that area. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
I hope
I
I
have a question.
answered this question. But if I did not, I'm happy, okay, to talk to Peter, okay, in person for that.
I have a question on kind of blockchain technology. I don't know if you're investing in that area or if you've seen anything. Any thoughts around, how big the opportunity is, or kind of if you had to direct people, where would you say the largest opportunity from like a blockchain standpoint is?
Yeah, that certainly is a very interesting. We'll see the high peak, okay, and also the continuous create data for in the Bitcoins as an area, okay. But aside from that, okay, blockchain, if you can deliver a good technology, which means, okay, a lot of digital contract, okay, a lot of IP documents can be protected with that. And with that, okay, you can also say, okay, lots of the industries product, okay, can be protected, okay, by blockchain's technology, okay. So I see many new company with new technology. Blockchain is one very good technology in terms of for the document control. But however, people also complain the processing speed is slow. So therefore, how you created not only reliable but with speed delivery, okay, for such secure control is very important. I see some promising technology, okay, built around the blockchain, which can enable those new business opportunity.
Yeah, I've kind of always struggled a little bit with the blockchain technology in itself, because to your point, it's slow and it's expensive, right? So I could just do the same compute in AWS, and I'll get a better solution potentially, right? And so it's almost like, when does the decentralized solution have the highest value versus a centralized like AWS solution? It's a fascinating thing, but a lot of things happening on the blockchain side.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
Are there any other spaces that you're pretty interested in terms of like how? Actually, I want to take a question on, how do you think the U.S.-China global political landscape is going to reframe moving forward?
Yeah, I'm personally, I also try to not only observe, I try to conclude their opportunity, but from very just from the service, okay, people just talking about it from now on, okay. If even with a Biden as a president, okay, maybe there's still two divided world, okay. So in the future, okay, any system you build, you may need to think, okay, you have two systems, two logistics systems, okay, two supply chain systems, okay. So therefore, there will be a interesting opportunity, okay, for if with that concept or with that vision, okay. I think at least from service, but go beyond that. I'm pretty sure, okay, there are many, okay. If the trend goes continues on, okay, with that, okay, there will be others, okay, which I can't tell you at this moment yet, okay, yeah.
What about this opportunity in space? So there's so many companies now launching solutions, right? So you're seeing like small satellites, they're hitting low Earth orbit. You have Starlink coming up with these massive distributed constellations. Any ideas or any kind of thoughts of like, how is the space ecosystem going to evolve over the next few decades?
Yeah, interesting. Okay, yes. With those things you just mentioned, okay, satellite communication become available, okay, for those people in the past, okay, which was very difficult to access to any high-speed communication or even for the online networkings, okay? But now it's almost available for them, okay? What they can prove now, okay, is I believe, okay, for the accessibility, okay, there's no problem for that. But however, I think beyond that, okay, they need to prove themselves, okay. For the networking communication, okay, they can also easily and quickly and cheaply, okay, enable people when they wanted to use for that, okay. So don't get me wrong, okay, combined with 5G, okay, with those low orbit, communication, satellite communication, okay, I think there's no doubt, okay, it's created many new opportunity for people and for the industry. Yes,
definitely. So we have a question from Sean out of the audience. He said, "You mentioned blockchain. We are also in a world of mobile. What do you see blockchain in a mobile application? How do you think about that technology, speed, bandwidth? Any comments on that?"
Yes. Mobile 5G with a new infrastructure, certainly we can anticipate, okay, not only high speed, high bandwidth, okay, can be available. With that, if you have anything you want to control with the security, especially the variable documents, okay, it's can become a requirement. Yes, blockchain, okay, as I just mentioned, okay, it can, it's a traceable and with a security, but however, the processing speed may be a difficulty, but however, they are people building the technology, they can process offline with a blockchain capability, then register online later, okay? So meaning blockchain to be enabled with high-speed communication, I think with that kind of, arrangement is still possible. So I look forward to see that kind of solution. In other words, blockchain on the high-speed communication can be available.
So I find blockchain such a fascinating topic because it's, like we talked about before, how, in software, you can iterate very quickly. But in blockchain, funny enough, you can't iterate very quickly anymore, because if you iterate incorrectly, the protocol layer completely breaks and your entire network collapses. So I think it's a new shift.
Yeah.
I don't have any comments about that.
Yeah, but however, with some edge computing and some offline processing technology, okay, I think, okay, that is possible. In other words, distributed process the blockchain's data and then integrated to the clouds, okay, later, okay, they can still process and protect it.
Great. Yeah. Here's a question from Ge Wang. He says, do you invest in the semiconductor industry, and would you be interested in investing in a semiconductor IC? Are you interested in investing in semiconductor IC design? Why or why not?
Yes, we see yes, semiconductor at least from Translink point of view, we are still interested in, okay, because in the past we have some successful cases, and continuously we believe fabless house, okay, they still have a good technology, okay, to solve the future application, okay. We are interested in continuously looking into that area.
Fantastic. We have another question from Peter Chu. You are a role model of success as a leader and entrepreneur, but some of us know that you also have an amazing family. Can you share some of the gems?
I can't hear
that you also have an amazing family.
Oh, I can't hear you. Just a second. Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, great. Let's try this again. So this question is from Peter Chu. He says, you are a role model of success as a leader and an entrepreneur, but some of us also know that you have an amazing family. Can you share some of the gems on your family and multi-generational success?
Oh, thank you, Peter. Probably I only started with, okay, I believe that family is value, okay, it's the most valuable, okay, asset for each one of us, okay. I only build my family, okay, based upon that concept, okay. So hopefully that will be help, okay, for every one of us.
That's great.
Sorry, I don't know whether that answered Peter's question again, okay. I would be happy, okay, to meet Peter, okay, in person when pandemic is over, okay.
That's interesting. Well, any last words for our audience space? I know you're a lot of people look up to you. You've been an amazing leader to especially the Asian community, the Monte Jade community. Any last words for our audience space before we wrap up today?
Yeah, I think, okay, we all live in a very special time, okay. I'm pretty sure 10 years we look back, okay, we will say, okay, this is a very valuable period of time. It's changing the way we communicate with people, how we work, okay. But however, we also bring the family closer, okay. And I just want to say, stay healthy and stay safe, okay, during this time, and look forward to see every one of you in the future.
Great. I'm going to wrap up a little bit with some logistics, but Gwong, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and your continued support of Monte Jade. We wouldn't be here without your support, so thank you so much. I'm going to move to a little logistics really quick before we wrap up. Okay. First off, I want to also always plug our mentorship program. So the mentorship program, again, 6-month-long program that bring out speakers and mentors to our program. Our last workshop was held November the 14th, and talking about personal power and influence without authority. So if you know anyone that's interested in the mentorship program, please send them our way. We'd love to get them in that program for next year. We have a lot of upcoming events. We've held a very, very healthy cadence during COVID. We have run over 40 events already just in 2020, despite COVID being shut down. So we have some great events coming up, including a happy hour with our Monte Jade board on the 27th. A VP controller of WePay, Rebecca Liao, is going to come out for a board-to-board interview. And you can see down this list as well. So please come out and go to our website to see our most recent updates on events coming down the line. Last but not least, we want to again thank our virtual series sponsors: Deloitte Venture Pacific Law, UMC Silicon Motion, New York Life, Most, and Richwave. Again, we would not be here without their support, and we thank you all for coming this late Saturday evening and an early Sunday for Gwong. Thank you so much for coming out. I'm looking forward to seeing you and having a meal after COVID ends.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, David.
Thank you. And this concludes our event today. Have a great night, everyone, and look forward to seeing everyone soon.